All right, so welcome everyone to our evaluation contest today. And without further ado, let's welcome our contest chair, Raji, to give us an opening of this contest.
Thanks, San. I welcome you all today to Toastmaster Insider's Evaluation Club Contest. The winners of today's evaluation contest will progress to the quarterfinals, which will be held between September 22nd and October 23rd. In case a contest winner is unable to participate in the next level, the next highest level contestant will advance to the quarterfinals. The purpose of the evaluation contest is for the evaluators to provide honest, positive, constructive feedback to our model speaker today. They will compliment the speaker on his or her strengths and provide positive improvements and suggestions for their betterment. So the contestants are requested to have a clear background and make sure their faces are well lit and all their gestures and expressions are clearly visible for everybody to see. Before everybody speaks, we will do an audio and a video check to make sure we are not running into any technical difficulties. The speaking order has been chosen at random, and I will be announcing them shortly. So all the judges and even the audience can mark their ballots in the same order to rank it correctly. I will repeat each contestant names along with their order twice to make sure everybody has the chance to note it down. So I am announcing the contestant orders. Judges, please be ready with your judges' ballot to mark the names in the exact order. Contestant 1. Before that, are all the contestants here?
I think Kritika is not there.
Is she able to join? Or
I messaged her. She's in a different call and she'll see if she can join. Otherwise, she'll need to back out.
Yeah, because if she doesn't attend the test speaker speech, there's no point for her attending, right?
Yes.
I guess we can wait till the speech is at least halfway. Otherwise, I mean, she won't be able to evaluate, like you said.
Yeah, because right now I'm announcing the contestant order.
Okay.
Why don't I go ahead with the rules and give her another couple minutes, and then you can do the order.
Sure. Then I can give the order. Sure. So I'll invite our chief judge Jennifer to go over the rules for the contest as we wait for our contestant. Let's do that.
Okay, sounds good. There's probably some specific rule about attending the briefing on time and so on, but given the situation, we'll give a couple minutes. And for those of you, I don't know if there's anyone here who's never been to a Toastmasters contest, but you'll notice that we have to follow some fairly strict procedures and rules, and we'll be asking for silence at certain times of the meeting and so on. So do please bear with us for that process if this is your first time. So to be eligible in a contest, a contestant must be a member in good standing of a club of good standing. So basically the club's dues are paid and the members' dues are paid. A member serving in a judge at any level for a contest in which they're competing is not eligible to compete. So I mean, you can't judge someone else's club if you're competing in this club, even if it's at a different contest. All the judges have to be paid members as well. And Toastmasters in more than one club can compete in more than one club contest, but if they win more than one club contest, they can't represent more than one club at a quarterfinals contest. So timing for the evaluation speeches is 2 to 3 minutes. Timing will begin with the contestant's first definite verbal or non-verbal communication to the audience. Normally this is their first word, but it would include any other kind of communication, such as a sound effect or something externally that is intended for the audience. If the contestant speaks for less than 1 minute and 30 seconds or more than 3 minutes and 30 seconds, they will be disqualified. The timers will show the green coloring, the Zoom background, at green for 2 minutes, yellow at 2 minutes and 30 seconds, and red for 3 minutes, and that will remain on until the contestant has completed speaking. There won't be any signal if the speaker has gone over time, and judges are instructed not to consider time in their ranking of the contestants. So after the contestants is speaking finished, they will remain in the Zoom room. We should probably talk a little bit about the logistics. In a regular contest, the contestants are escorted out of the room to, while other contestants are speaking so that they can't hear the other contestants and give themselves an advantage. Here, our Sergeant-at-Arms Stan will be escorting them out of the Zoom meeting into a Zoom breakout meeting, and we'll need to bring them out and bring them back in accordingly to get around how Zoom works. So if you're a contestant, you will be invited to join a side room, and then you'll be invited to join back. So please look for your Zoom notifications for that. And after each contestant, there'll be 1 minute of silence for the judges to mark their ballots. And after the final contestant, normally we ask for silence until the judges are done and the ballot counters have completed. And I guess then it depends whether we send the judges out to a breakout room to finish their judging or not. You can make that call at the time. We'll remain silent until the judges and the ballot counters are out of the meeting, one way or the other. And I will go with the ballot counters into our private Zoom meeting to do the tally. If there's any technical failure of the timer or of the signaling in Zoom, then a speaker is allowed 30 extra seconds before being disqualified. So speakers, please note that if you don't see the time as you expect, you will have an extra 30 seconds, but do please finish, even if you don't see a red. Prior to announcing the results, the chair will announce if there were any disqualifications for time, but they won't say who was disqualified. Protests based on eligibility could be made by the contestants or judges. I don't expect any of that at a club contest, but if any of you thinks that a member is not in fact a member, then please talk to Raji or myself. And once the results have been correctly announced, the results are final. So all the participants should have been briefed and they are qualified to fulfill their roles. Just a quick reminder of how the structure of the contest will be. The test speaker will give their 5 to 7 minute speech. Then the evaluators will each take turn evaluating, and the judges are judging the evaluators, not the speech as we have in a normal meeting, just to make that clear. All right, are there any questions about the rules from anybody? Hearing none, I'll return control to our Toastmaster and Chair for the day, Raji.
Thank you, Jennifer, for the rules. I think it is good time to start. I would skip Kritika because that's in interest of time and for respecting other contestants' time as well. So with that being said, judges, please be ready with your ballots to mark it for the contestant ordering. Sure. Contestant number 1 will be Sujata Tibrewala. Contestant number 1 is Sujata Tibrewala. Contestant number 2. Contestant number 2 is Sergio Gonzalez. Contestant number 2 is Sergio Gonzalez. Contestant number 3, Ishwaki Thakkar. Contestant number 3, Ishwaki Thakkar. Contestant number 4, Mati Vatani Mohan. Contestant number 4, Mati Vatani Mohan. Contestant number 5, Shivapriya Hiremat. Shivapriya Hiremat, contestant number 5.
Might need to slow down a little bit because these are some long names for those of us who are trying to write.
Yeah, I'll be putting them in the chat as well.
Fabulous.
Just need. Okay, we have one more last minute addition. Contestant number 6, Manoj. Contestant number 6, Manoj. Let me just add these names in the chat. Just give me a quick second.
And San, you're going to rename the Zoom names for everybody so we also see the numbers there? Oh, you're doing that now.
Yes.
Look at that.
Yes, working on it.
Fabulous. Actually, if you could make it, maybe don't put the word contestant so that we can also see the name. Maybe just one and then the.
Oh, just mark by
No,
the
I see.
number?
You did it for Ashwaki, but I think number one, it says one contestant, so I can't see the name.
Yeah.
It's too long.
I did it myself.
you
I think
want
all the contestants can rename themselves like this. That
Yeah,
would
San
I
was
did
going to
that
do it.
for
so that we-
myself, yeah.
Oh, you did that for yourself. I see. There we go. Perfect. Looks good.
San, you ready?
Yes.
Okay. So let's begin our contest. And let's welcome our test speaker for today, Cedric D. Brito, Street Friends, Cedric D. Brito. Timer, please time him for 5 to 7 minutes.
Hi, testing. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Let me set this up. I see you. I see myself. All right. It was exactly about 10 years ago to this day. I was a student in Berlin trying to learn to pronounce Deutschland, which means Germany in German. For those of you who know Germany, you know how monotonous the student life in Berlin is. Party, party every day, every night, forever. In order to try to break this routine, I decided to go on an adventure I would never forget. Excited, I ran to my best friends and asked if they wanted to come with me, but they were busy. So I went to my second best friends, but they were drunk. So I ran down to the street and said, "Who wants to come with me?" And 4 people signed up. Now I gotta tell you, the street was the name of our adventure club in college. Of these 4 street dwellers, one was a tall German guy. The other one was a short French girl. There was a stylish Italian guy and a very quiet Canadian girl. As I got to know my new 4 street friends, and I explained to them my master plan to cross a national park by bike to reach a beautiful medieval castle at the top of the hill on the other side, their eyes glittered and they were all in. When the day came, we caught the train with our bikes to our starting location. It was like German clockwork, exactly, approximately, on time. From there, we started our climb for 2 hours nonstop until we reached the top of the first hill and looked down to see a downhill, followed by an uphill, followed by a downhill and an uphill. And the Italian guy shouted at me, "Mamma mia, how many more hills like this?" And the French girl said, "Oh no." While the German guy shouted, "Scheiße." What could I do? This was a time before smartphones. I had my maps printed on paper without elevation profile. So on we went, down and up and down and up and down and up and down and up until we felt so tired that we called it a day. Limping with our sore muscles, we walked into the forest. We found a clearing. We put up our tents and gathered in a circle for dinner. That is when I was reminded of the beauty of multiculturalism in Berlin. The Italian guy picked up a guitar that he had been carrying all day and started playing a Spanish tune that I remember to this day. At the same time, the German guy pulled out a cold pizza from his bag, smeared it with ketchup, and shared with everyone. The French girl, she pulled out a bottle of wine and a tray of cheese for everyone to enjoy. The Canadian girl, she was fasting. And so this is how we spent a beautiful evening with great music, delicious food, and a restful night's sleep. The next morning, we woke up with a wine hangover, but determined to reach our goal. Our enthusiasm notwithstanding, at the top of the first hill, the German guy's chain broke. Of course, he was the first one to go, Scheiße. The French girl went, oh no. And the Italian guy, you know it, Mamma mia. The Canadian girl, however, she was quick to act. She found a screw on the side of the road that we could use to pop out the pin of the broken link and repair the chain. But that would have to be real teamwork. The Italian guy held the chain. The French girl held the screw with her thin fingers. And the German guy found a rock on the side of the road and went, screw this, screw this, screw this, until we could pop out the pin and repair the chain. Back on the road, we continued going up and down and up and down and up until we reached the castle at the top of the hill, only to find out that it was closed because it was Beer Tuesday in Germany. Unwilling to admit defeat, we propped up our bikes against the fence, stepped on them and over the fence so that we could visit the sun kissed the horizon, feeling like kings and queens, even if just for a moment. Looking back at our journey, I realized that even street dwellers like us could feel like kings and queens, even if just for a moment. And our friendships created through this adventure would last a lifetime. I just don't remember their names, Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you, Cedric. Now contestants will be escorted to a breakout room.
Raji, I have a question. For anyone, did the video skip for like 10 seconds?
Yes, it did.
Yes, it did.
Ouch.
Yeah.
Well, at least it skipped for everybody. I guess that makes it fair, right?
Yeah, that's fine.
Well, but that means my internet is bad.
Yes.
Okay,
fine.
so I'm assigning the contest number 206 into the breakout room.
Okay.
The contest number 1, Sujata, you will be staying in this main room.
San, once you confirm you have escorted them to the breakout room, then we can start the 5 minutes for the contestant to jot down their notes.
Sure.
And San, I think you should escort contestant 1 also into the room since we'll be talking to our test speaker.
Oh, okay. Let me, so Sujata, assign to breakout room. Okay, all of them are now in the breakout room.
Excellent. Timer, Dhinuraj, can you put us on clock for 5 minutes?
Okay.
Thank you. So now that our test speaker has given his speech, it's time to give him some time to talk about himself. So Cedric, tell us, how long have you been a Toastmaster?
I have been a Toastmaster at InSpeak at NVIDIA, not too far from you guys, for just over a year now.
Oh, that's excellent. How has been your journey so far?
All right, I've haven't made that much progress. I've just finished my level 2 of my first pathway, and I'll be competing in the first contest. Evaluation contest last week and humorous contest this week, if my internet doesn't break up again.
Yes, modern day problems. I think I would say 2020 problems.
Actually, if I may ask, did the sound also cut or was it just the video?
No, both actually. You were frozen for 10 seconds.
Oh my God. And was that in the middle, at the beginning, at the end, or?
Almost to the end, probably a minute and a half before it ended.
I see. Okay, thanks.
Yeah. So how have you been spending your time staying at home these days? Apart from working from home, of course, did you pick up anything new?
Right. Well, I've picked up more gardening, I suppose, since the COVID started. I was already doing some gardening, but now I'm growing a lot of my own food because it's easier. I don't need to go out that often. I don't need to go grocery shopping, and there's plenty to do in the garden.
That's nice. What all have you been growing?
Oof. I have, I don't know, 30 different things from lettuce to passion fruits and squashes and tomatoes and kiwi fruits and chard and kale and beets and turnips, and I'm probably forgetting a bunch.
Oh, wow. That is very interesting and very productive as well, both literally and figuratively.
Yeah, and it takes me away from the computer, so it's a good thing to do on the side.
Yeah, much needed screen break, right?
Mm-hmm.
How have you been able to keep your spirits up? Has gardening been helping you, or you have devised a new technique to cope with all this craziness around us?
I haven't had that much of an issue, to be honest. I'm more of an introvert, so staying at home has been great. And I do have this little garden and patio outside, so I can work outside. I can breathe the air full of ashes. Right now, I didn't expect it to be so dark today. It's really gloomy. There's not much light out here. But yeah, I don't have much of a problem staying at home and cooking my own food. And yeah, I've been keeping my spirits up without issues.
That's excellent. That's lucky for you. Yes, the environment around us has turned out pretty gloomy. When I woke up in the morning, I was thinking, did I wake up way too early? And I looked at my clock and it's like, oh, it's already 8 o'clock. And yeah, I don't think it's getting any better because of the winds, I guess.
Right. Yeah, all the smoke seems to be very high in the atmosphere. I can't even see the sun right now. Normally at this spot, I generally have the problem that the sun shines into the camera, and so I have to try to cover it. But right now, there's not even enough sun. You can't barely see me.
That is true. That is true. Even I'm using some lights, else the sunshine is roasting me usually at this spot. Yeah, Yeah, it's unprecedented what all things 2020 has taught us, shown us, all unique experiences. But I'm just happy
Yeah.
all of us are safe.
I'm hoping one unique experience to come will be me winning the contest. You know, you can
Interesting.
expect anything in 2020. We have a lot of very advanced speakers in our club, so I don't expect that to happen. But who knows? It's 2020.
Absolutely true. Not just 2020, anything can happen anytime, but 2020 has given us multiple examples about how things can change beyond expectations, which is a one way, a good thing to look at life, I guess. Pretty good life lessons.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, Raji, sorry to interrupt. It's 5 minutes past.
Okay. Thanks, Cedric. That was an interesting conversation, but looks like we have to get on with our contest.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for your time today.
Sounds good.
San, can we have the first contestant back in our main room?
Yeah.
By the way, I have a meeting at 1, so I'm going to have to leave if we get too close to that time, okay?
Sure. Thank you so much for participating today.
And as we noticed, everybody's back, and then Ken will send everybody else but the first contestant back into their room.
Yes.
Yes.
So I'll give her a moment to do that Zoom magic.
I just invited from number 2 to number 6 to the breakout room.
Okay. Sujata, can we have an audio and video check for you?
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, and we can see you.
Manoj, come back to your computer and go into the room.
Yeah.
Is there a way for you to override, San, and force the contestant
Is
in?
Manoj available right now?
Looks like he
doesn't look like it.
Stepped away from the computer.
Oh, he left. I see.
Oh, look,
okay,
here he comes
he
back.
came back.
Oh, look, I see a door opening. Manoj, we need you to accept your Zoom movement. There we go.
Okay, yeah, cool. We can get started.
Okay. Sujata, whenever you are ready. Contestant 1, Sujata. Sujata, contestant 1.
Hey, Cedric. Great speech. It was engaging. It had jokes. It had drama. It had a good use of storytelling. You had good props. I had a tough time like noting down the points because I was so pulled into your speech, and I'm sure everybody else might agree with you. What impressed me was you made some things which were even boring, like, name of a country, and turned it into a joke. You had great props to use, like to show how boring party every day can be. You had a prop to repair the bike, like with a rock and the nail. Impressive. Was really good. Your tone of voice was good. The story followed a particular structure, and you had drama into it, like, with all the hills and, the bike breaking down, and then of course the anti-climax, after which there was a glitch. So I missed a part of it, but you also ended up very strongly. You pulled us in and gave us a joke, and you moved towards the camera as if you were talking directly to us one-on-one. Great job. It was very tough for me to find places to improve. One thing I would say personally is, if I had a heads up of, like, your overall goal of the speech, or like, some kind of takeaway from the speech, what we as audience could learn from it, that would have been really good. Personally, what I took away from the speech was that you can find friends anywhere and have fun with them as long as we share interests. But I don't know if that was your goal from the speech. So it would have been really great to learn that from you. And I know there was a technical glitch. It is probably not in your control, but probably something to keep in mind for the future, because we lost a critical part of your speech, and it would have been better if we had heard the whole of your speech. Again, thank you so much. Great speech. Was tough to find, give suggestions for improvements to you. Thank you.
Thank you, Sujata. Timer, please mark 1 minute of silence for the judges to mark their ballots for Sujata.
One minute passed.
Thank you. Now it's time for our second contestant, Sergio. Contestant number 2, Sergio. Can we have a quick audio and video check, Sergio?
Check, testing. Are you able to hear me?
Yes.
Great. Can I go ahead and begin?
Yes, ready whenever you are.
Thank you very much. Cedric, wow, I thoroughly enjoyed the story. It was a great story of adventure and friendship. I think it was quite evident that you prepared thoroughly for your speech, and that enabled you to deliver a masterful presentation. I will, as part of my evaluation, I'll focus on the content of your speech and the delivery. As far as the content, I thought you structured the story very well by clearly introducing the characters, setting the stage for the story and for the adventure. And then what I loved about the story is that it had this consistent build-up and then this conflict where you had this situation where you're on the journey, the chain broke, you reached the castle, but then it was closed. So there was this constant, build-up and then kind of let down. But ultimately, it was a happy ending. You were able to get inside the castle and then, act as kings and queens for at least one moment. So in all, I thought that the story had really great structure and flow. It was very easy to follow, and it kept me wanting more. I just kind of wanted to see where this was going to go, where it was going to end. So I thought it was great. A suggestion for improvement, I would like to have heard more of a theme or intro in the beginning. Maybe I missed it, but it just took me a few moments to understand what the speech was about. After a few moments, I realized that the theme of the story was this adventure and this friendship, but it took me a moment to get to that. So maybe a little bit more of a clear introduction of the theme would have been helpful. The speech delivery, I think this is where you really shined. There were so many pros. I love the use of your gestures, the vocal variety that you displayed, all the great props. I think you had nails and rocks and God knows what. So it was just a ton of visual elements that would be great in person, but also in the Zoom setting or even better, right? It just really helps engage the audience and again, kind of keep them really entertained. I also love the accents and impersonations. I thought they were just spot on, very clever. Overall, I think your goal was to deliver a humorous speech, and you had me smiling and chuckling the whole way through. So bravo, great job.
Thank you, Sergio. Timer, please give us 1 minute of time for all the judges to mark their ballots.
Duff 1 minute.
Thank you. Now we have contestant number 3, Ishwaki.
Sorry, we have one contestant who's still in the room. There we go.
Okay.
Thank you.
Sorry.
Yeah, it's ready.
Okay, thanks, Sean.
Mhm.
Contestant number 3, Ishwaki. Contestant number 3, Ishwaki. Can we have a quick audio video check?
Can you hear me fine?
Yes.
Okay. Can you see me fine?
Yes. Ready whenever you are.
Cedric, I loved your speech. I have 3 E's for this excellent speech: emotions, experiences, and ecstasy. I have been able to relate to whatever experience you shared about hiking and biking because I have been doing that a lot. And that's why I was able to enjoy and feel every part of your speech. What I loved about your speech is you used the frame very well. You moved around and your pauses or your movements were diligent. It was not, we were not being distracted by those moments. You used props very well. You used the beer bottle, bags, and the guitar. That helped us give a wonderful experience about not just hearing anything, but actually being able to imagine what you would have enjoyed. The second thing which I loved about your speech is your transition and structure was amazing. You started very well. You ended it very well with the amazing note of, I stopped remembering the names. So you tied everything together amazingly. You had call to action. You use certain great techniques which I could catch was element of surprise. So whenever you want to take audience on a ride, you give them something which they don't expect. I went to the friends who were busy. I went to the friends, other set of friends, they were drunk. I love that technique. You also use repetition method, like you use certain times Mamma Mia. Oh my God. So that gave how multicultural people you were involved with. So even if we forget who were the people, we could remember those things. So you used 2 great techniques which I could capture. The third thing I loved is you also showed and engraved the value of the teamwork and how the multicultural experience you had. What I can think about you to even get better, I know it's excellent speech and I had to really think hard about this part, was your background was white and the clothes you were wearing were white. So if you can do a contrast, that would also give us better. You can have better lightings like facing at both the sides, just like I am right now doing. You had plain background, unlike me, so you don't get distracted. We didn't get distracted with your background, so that was a very good thing. I got confused at 2 places where you were talking about you read to certain place, but I missed that part. You started talking about chain. I thought you guys were hiking and then it moved to so if you can make it clear, that would help audience to connect better and not get confused with it. Another thing I can think about in virtual settings, we all can learn about how to make a better feel of eye contact. So to challenge you, I would say if you can pause more and make us feel that you're having a very, even better eye contact with us, that would have made us feel even more connected. You took us on a wonderful ride with the subtle, natural, happy elements in it. And I really enjoyed hearing your speech. And I felt it was entertaining, sensational experience that I just love to hear today. So I'm very happy that I heard your speech today. Thank you for the speech.
Thank you, Ishwaki. Timer, please give us 1 minute for all the judges to mark their ballots.
1 minute passed.
Thank you.
Contestant is ready.
Thanks, San. Now we have contestant number 4, Mati. Contestant number 4, Mati. Can we have a quick audio and video check, please?
Do you see me?
Yes.
That means you hear me too. Okay, great. Do I get started or do I have a cue from you, Raji?
Ready whenever you are.
Okay, I'm ready to go. Good afternoon, everybody. Where is Cedric? Okay, I see Cedric. Cedric, I have one word to describe your speech, and that is wow. That was so good. Halfway through, I think I almost forgot that I'm supposed to be evaluating, and I started taking notes on how I'm supposed to give my speeches. That was a really good delivery. You had a strong opening and you grabbed everybody's attention. We were with you from the start. You had excellent and efficient body language usage. You used the entire stage despite this being a virtual setting. And then you showed how you would like cross over the fence and everything. That was very effective. Excellent usage of hand gestures also. They pulled me in and helped me visualize whatever you were doing and trying to say. And your facial expressions were on point. Like I could feel the emotions that you were going through. So that kept me hooked. So wonderful job on that. Your story had a nice dramatic flair to it and humorous. Oh, wow. The whole second best friend thing and then the end that you found the place closed. I was actually laughing throughout your speech. I don't know if that's okay as an evaluator, if I can keep laughing through it, but it was really entertaining. The props were a great addition. You kept picking up the bag, you picked up the guitars, that was all really good. And just when I thought that you had nailed everything and it was like at the pinnacle, and then you started playing the guitar, I'm like, what was that? That was so good. And this is easily the most difficult speech for me to criticize or pick on. But I do have something to add. Given that your speech was so good and so well constructed, I did feel like the ending could have been stronger. The speech very much felt uphill, and uphill to me, but then it just kind of got left there. I don't feel like I remember something strong at the end. So definitely can have a better ending to the speech. And also given that we are in a virtual setting, I feel like your background or your lighting could have been brighter because your story was about fun and adventure and excitement, and your background just felt a little dull, I would say, not being too critical. And of course, the internet connectivity of no fault of your own. I wouldn't have wanted to miss those 10 seconds of your speech either. It was just perfect. So to sum up, a great speech, and I nitpicked on these with a lot of difficulty. I wish I could hear more speeches from you. It was fresh, it was funny, and it was fantastic. And I'm glad I got an opportunity to evaluate your speech. Thank you.
Thank you, Mati. Timer, please give the judges 1 minute to mark their ballots.
One minute passed.
Contestant is ready.
Thanks, San. Now it's time for contestant number 5, Shivapriya. Contestant number 5, Shivapriya. Shivapriya, can you give us a quick audio and video check, please?
Can you hear me okay?
Yes. You are ready to start whenever you're ready.
All right. Cedric, it was a mind-blowing speech. My first thought was that we're all stuck at home with a kind of gloomy orange weather outside. You just brightened up the screen and our mood too. Well, I liked how Cedric was so energetic. His entry was smashing, I would say. His body language showed the various emotions he was going through during his trip with his 4 street friends. We could feel his enthusiasm when he met the 4 friends and the sadness when they saw the treacherous path that they had to reach it to the top. Cedric also had hand gestures, which didn't feel they were out of place or excessive. They were just right and they felt natural and appropriate at all the places. He even added a hint of music in the mix to make it even more interesting and dramatic. There were elements of comedy when he said exactly, approximately on time. That was nice. I think ending felt a bit flat. I was looking for a more dramatic punch. Um, the technical issue, I think it was a bummer, and we missed out on a bit of the story there, I would say. I also felt at a few places it was a bit rushed. I could have enjoyed a bit more slower paced speech where here you could have added a few pauses. For example, to start with, when you were saying about the 4 friends you were meeting, you could have said, I met 4 friends on the street. One was German, one was Italian. So you could have given a few pauses in between. I thought it felt a bit rushed to, keep up with the story. What I liked the best was Cedric tried to weave in the aspect of teamwork in the story. It was a nice little takeaway in the speech. So that was really interesting in your speech. He had great energy throughout. I would recommend to have a bit more in terms of having a stronger conclusion to the speech. Overall, it was a wonderful speech with a tinge of multiculturalism added into it. Thank you.
Thank you, Shivapriya. Timer, please give the judges 1 minute to mark their ballots.
So when do I start?
I will let you know.
One minute passed.
Thank you. Now it's time for contestant number 6, Manoj. Contestant number 6, Manoj. Manoj, can you give us a quick audio and video check, please?
Am I audible?
Yes.
Thank you. And I'm guessing you can see.
Yes. So ready whenever you are.
Cedric, congrats on giving all of us evaluators a really hard time, because that is what a test speaker in an evaluation contest is supposed to do. And you gave a jolly good ride for all of us listeners. And congrats again on that. I would start off with the second best attribute that I loved about your speech. Your speech was a very interesting story, right? So Your storytelling style was impeccable. I loved the way you had structured the story. You had started off with how you described your dorm days, and then there was a little bit of a musical portion. But the best thing I loved about your storytelling style is your character sketching. It almost felt like we were among those four characters. If I had to add one thing to that, although towards the end you had revealed that you did not know their names, you could have given them some nicknames. I did realize that you used German, Italian, but give some nicknames. So it would feel like A, G, F was with us and we were hiking all together. The third best attribute I loved about your speech, especially when you're doing something on video, is the little or the secondary effects which I see. The composition of the video was perfect. Your props and your attire was well thought out. The guitar, although was initially was a little distracting when it was in the side, because I kept thinking, okay, what is it doing in the side, or does it have to come into the story or not? Although you later on reversed that, and I realized that was intentional, and that kind of added a little bit of surprise or suspense to all of us. So well done on that. If I were to nitpick a little bit more, you have a really good body language. Your hand gestures were impeccable. Your voice modulation was great. I loved your theatrics, but somehow at times I was feeling that you were restricting your theatrics a little bit. You could have gone all out and said that, hey, we were hiking. Hey, we were drunk. We were in the dorm. We were like slog. You could have gone all out with your theatrics. So that is one thing that you could work on. And coming back to what I loved about your speech, the best attribute that I would pick is something I call as a returning cues. And this is something that I love that a lot of people use in their stories in Toastmasters. What I mean by returning cues is you use something like Shesha, Mamma Mia, up and down throughout your stories. And that acts as a connector from one time frame to another to another. And that weaves the whole story together. Overall, a great speech. You did great with your voice modulation, with your returning cues, how the story flowed. You can go all out and make this an amazing speech. Thank you.
Thank you, Manoj. Timer, please give the judges 1 minute to mark their ballots, please.